For we are to God the fragrance of Christ. 2 Corinthians 2 verse 15.
My channel. My name is Tokwe and this is Top News by Tokwe. Today in the video I have like an unboxing / first impression of Lattafa's new fragrance. It's a new addition to the Bade'e Al Oud collection. That's the Bade'e Al Oud Oud for Glory. So there's a new one that is Bade'e Al. I'm trying to be sure if I'm getting the pronunciation right, but please comment down below. Tell me if I'm butchering the name, I'm getting it right. So I think it's Bade'e Al Oud Amethyst. And so if you're interested in knowing my thoughts and my impression about this fragrance, without much ado, let's get into the video. So we're going to go straight into the video, and I would love to first show you the fragrance. So this is my fragrance. This is the box that it came in. Unfortunately, I think in packaging some part of this thing is broken, but I mean, again, I think the first one that I had to it's similar packaging. I think I also broke the it's like a plastic imitating kind of like a glass see-through thing, but it's broken, and it opens exactly the same way. This is what it looks like. Sits in this purple. So this purple, or yeah, purple, this purple, and then there's a card here. This card was not in the Oud for Glory, so there's this card, just says Bade'e Al Oud Lattafa Amethyst Lattafa. The back has the Lattafa logo, so like this, simple like that. I think this adds to like some expensiveness or exoticness is a word to it. So this is what it looks like out of the box. It's almost identical. I will insert a picture of Oud for Glory, but it's identical like this, and it has Bade'e Al Oud and then Amethyst at the bottom. The top is purple and gold with the Lattafa logo. My logo is upside down. This is how it looks. I hope this focuses. Great. And then at the bottom, it's also gold engraved with information about Lattafa and all that. So the presentation is very similar to the Oud for Glory presentation, just that this is purple. Initially when I saw this, I thought it was a dupe for Initio's side effects, but I hear is the psychedelic. I haven't smelled psychedelic, so I'm going to talk about this fragrance on its own. So for notes, this fragrance has notes of bergamot and pink pepper at the top. It has Turkish rose, it has Bulgarian rose and jasmine in the middle. It has amber, vanilla and oud at the base. So I have my handy dandy paper here, so I'm going to spray it and then we talk about it. It has a great atomizer, as you can see. Nice. So this is really nice. So it starts off, honestly, at the top I don't smell any citruses at all. I just get fresh blast of rose, a sweet rose. This rose is very light, almost sparkling. It's almost sparkling and it's sweet, but it's not as sweet as Oud for Glory. It's sweet, it's a very balanced sweetness, and then it is after the rose blast that I begin to get some citrusiness, but I don't think the citrus is the bergamot. It feels it's a bit mild, so I think I am beginning to think that that's the citrusness that is lended to this fragrance by the pink peppers, because pink pepper has some bit of citrusness to it than spiciness. So it is it. So it gets rosy, it gets a bit citrusy, but not overly citrus, and it's beautiful because this rose is light and airy. It's not heavy, it's not jammy, so it's light, it's fresh, and it's sweet, but it's not too sweet. Like, it's not fruity sweet, it's just a balanced beautiful sweetness. And then at a certain point, you begin to smell something dry. And I think that dryness is something dry. And I think that's the oud. But this oud here is not pungent, yet it is pungent. So let me explain. So there's this animal nature to this oud, but it is not like those animalic fecal smelling oud. So it reminds me of the oud here reminds me of some, I don't know how to explain this thing. So I'll put a picture of it. So growing up, there was this leather thing that people put. It was made from native leather from Ghana. So you found it in people's homes, and it was like a leg rest kind of pillow. I'm going to put, so it's like leathery oud. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what it smells. But it's not like difficult, challenging leather. No, very smooth, almost suede like. Yeah, and then the vanilla is there, and it's, I think that one too has some added sweetness to the rose, but not just too much sweetness. And then there's this beautiful warmth. So I have it, yep, I have the dry down here, and at the dry down it is more ambery vanilla sweetness with a tad bit of the oud. The rose, so on this my hand, I've had it for, I think I spritz it on at 12 noon, and this is at about 8 p.m. now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 hours. I can actively smell this. I can smell it. I don't need to sniff too much, but it smells more. It's become like I smell just a tad bit of the wood and a tad bit of the roses, but more of what I smell is the amber and the vanilla, giving it some sweetness. Yes, the oud is there, but it's not very pronounced, because even here to my nose, the oud is not so much. It's there at the background, you get it, it's beautiful. And another thing I realized with this fragrance, it's very, very well blended, that to a certain level it becomes a bit difficult to even separate what is there and what is not there. It's quite well blended, I have to be honest. It's a very beautiful fragrance. I spritz it on at about 12 noon. This is 8 p.m. and I can smell it. It's now a beautiful cloud around me. Another thing that I would say is that projection for the first hour and to maybe the first 2 hours, yeah, it was projecting quite well. And then after that, I felt like I wasn't getting the projection again. But I would say that this fragrance fills the room. It fills the room. When I say, because I spritzed it and then I went into a meeting, and somebody came into my room after at about maybe 3-4 hours and was like, oh, you smell really nice. And the person was not very close to me, it was at the doorway, so like an arm's length to an arm's length and a half. It is a very good fragrance, I would say. At this point, the challenge that I have is that I don't love rose, but I think I like this fragrance. Okay, I like it because it's not that rose that it's a bit too, there's some kind of rose that I don't like, and this is a rose that is blended into a fragrance that's quite deep and dark, but not too dark, just because the oud is very balanced here and it's not that pronounced. Another thing that I like about this fragrance is that even though this fragrance is sweet, it is not too sweet. I would say that this is not as sweet as Oud for Glory. And then secondly, this is definitely a balanced unisex fragrance. What I mean is that this can sway anywhere. It's equally as unisex for a man as it is for a woman, so it doesn't lean in any of the directions. And from this, I sprayed this at noon, and this is 8 hours, and it has a beautiful cloud around me. It has it has a moderate to above average CH, I have to say. It fills a room, and then it has a good longevity. I feel like from the way this went, I didn't really step out. I just only went for school rounds after a couple of hours, so I can't say And then today I haven't gone into like heavy, the weather has been really cool, so I would really love to try this out when it's very hot. But as I have it at the back of my hands, and at the 8-hour mark I'm still smelling it. I'm smelling it, yeah, everywhere that I put it, it's still there, it's active. I would get to smell my clothes after I take it off and then just smell it again and see how it's gone. But 8 hours on my skin and I'm still counting. It's very beautiful. I can tell you that if it's doing 8 hours on my skin, it's going to do more on my clothes. It's very beautiful, but I can't say where I sit with it because I like Oud for Glory a lot, so I can't say where I sit with it. But it's a very, very, I feel like does it have similarities to Oud for Glory? Yes, it does, but it is also unique on its own. And I think that one of the things I'll say is that it has quite an interesting development. It's not linear. It goes, you know, you first start smelling some roses, then to some citruses, to the oud, amber. So it's a bit, for this kind of fragrance and for the price, I would say that it's quite complex for it. It's very beautiful. I feel like if you ask me, that it takes me to the question of, is it unique enough to have both? I think for that question I'll need to have to try it some more, but I don't mind. It's not so the same, honestly. There's a lot of differences, but at the dry down I feel as though it kind of smells almost the same. And I have to say that this is almost the same for most Middle Eastern fragrances because they are all usually based in amber or vanilla. So at the end of the day, with some oud in it, when it dries down, they kind of smell very similar to themselves. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't say that it's identical to Oud for Glory, but I would have to kind of wear it some more, wear Oud for Glory again, and kind of see whether or not it is unique enough to have both of them. But on its own, it's a beautiful fragrance. I like it. No, I love it because I feel like I'm not a rose lover, and I like this. It is a rose that I would definitely wear and continue keep wearing because it's not heavy, it's not thick, it's not jammy, it's just a beautiful, sparkling, refreshing, kind of light sweet rose that's very beautiful. So I like it. The jasmine is the only note that I couldn't pick out. Like I said, this fragrance is very well blended, so makes it a bit difficult to get the different variations of like notes or that is here. But on it, I would say that this is a great fragrance by Lattafa. Honestly, these new Lattafa is bringing out really good quality. I didn't get any synthetic vibe. It wasn't harsh. It didn't have that you know, when some fragrance will have like a huge alcohol sprays before. No, this was really, really beautiful. I'm very much impressed, packaging and everything. So this is what my first impression about this fragrance. So if you have tried this fragrance, I'd love you to comment down below. Tell me what your thoughts about the fragrance is. And as I use it some, I'm going to do like an in-depth review. I'll see if some things will change, and I'll also have been able to use it under different weather conditions. This one is not very much available here in Nigeria. I got this from an Instagram vendor called Perfumes and More. I'm going to link her down so you can reach out to her to get it, but I know that they're flying off the shelves very fast. So yes, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Bye bye.